So, we did the series on navigating the unknown. And it's time to stop navigating, ducking, diving, and really understand what the new norm is. So what I've been shown is that the new norm has been engaged on the planet. Some of it has actually been anchored. 100% anchoring of the new norm has taken place when it comes to nature itself. In terms of humans, it has been engaged, it has been lodged, and a chunk of the new norm has been anchored within humans already, which is why there is a shift in the vibe, and we are starting to come out of where we were, and very soon there'll be greater and greater certainty that will be emerging. Now, what is this new norm? And it's quite a big body of work that has emerged as I have allowed myself to receive the different facets of the new norm. So on each of these calls, I will focus on one or two aspects of the new norm. And as a way of leveraging the new norm, we are going to go through a journey of the 7 Cs. And it's a C as in the alphabet C, and even though the vibration is a journey through the 7 Cs as an idiom itself. So one aspect of the new norm is an acceptance across the planet by humans primarily that there is nothing that we can take for granted. There's an acceptance that uncertainty is certain. There's an acceptance that the unknown is what is known. Now, when you have a critical mass of humans, starting to get to a place where, they're starting to accept uncertainty is certain, unknown is the known, what it does is it creates an opening for creativity. So one of the other facets of the new norm that is coming about is a resurgence of creativity within humans. Now, we were born with creativity, and when we are in our creativity, and all of us, each and every one of us on this call, have had that experience of being in that creative mode. And it feels like anything is possible at that time. And literally, creativity is one side of a coin, which on the other side has consumption on it. So another facet of the new norm is that we are literally catapulted up to be on top of a pivot, where if you were in two minds whether you needed to make a choice now or not, or whether you could carry on, where all of that has literally been taken away and you've been catapulted to the top of a pivot. So at the top of the pivot means you're going to make a choice, otherwise the pivot will start to hurt. You're going to make a choice in terms of where you're going to go, which is why we are beginning with choice. And I'm going to come to that in a minute. But at the top of the pivot is where, the choices have got various elements and various facets to it. So at the top of the pivot, you also can make a choice to be creative or be in consumption. What this new norm of what I've just described has enabled is people are becoming more creative. They're being reawakened to what it is when they themselves become creative. When you start engaging in your own creativity, and people have had to do that sometimes just to cope with being in the same house for such an extended period of time, even with your loved ones, or working from home where everyone in your home is working from home, or finding yourself, in a new country and not being able to come back. So staying on there. So people have started becoming creative, and what that does is it literally takes the addiction component that was starting to multiply across the planet towards consumption, and consumption of all sorts of things. Consumptions of being out there, consumptions of of eating, shopping, substances, work, getting busy, all that sort of stuff. That creativity has been reawakened. It's very much a part of the new norm that has been anchored already. There's another one that has been anchored already, which is that it's relationships that really matter. I was shown very earlier on when I began my journey into, spiritual awakening. I was shown this about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, that there was a new industry that was going to start getting recognized. And that is where me and what I am to bring forth by living the calling of my soul was going to play. And that new industry is now anchored, solidly anchored. And it has been welcomed, it has been received subconsciously primarily by humans, but it's very much there. And it's the relationship industry. And the relationship industry is where we will all be playing. Those of you who are actors, it'll be, even if you're acting in front of a camera, it'll be a relationship that you will be building with your audience who's going to see you maybe even 10 years from the time that you perform this performance. So the other aspect of the new norm and how it is playing out is a remembrance is what is being brought together. When this planet was created, it was created as a planet of relationships. And it was a playing ground of relationships. And it was a playing ground of the divine to observe how relationships would play out. Humans came in, and it was all about co-creating collaborative coexistence. And when humans came in and various other things that occurred galactically, created a spread of command and control. And then that started multiplying and showing up in a whole variety of ways, different systems, different structures, different devices, different modes of transaction, including money, and all of that got created. And everything was heading towards command and control. And this extended period that we've been in has really literally transmutated that. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for that transmutation of command and control. In some areas, there's still going to be a need for command and control, but coming at it from a space of a creative solution that collaboratively co-creates coexistence, it's very different than command and control because there's a voracious appetite to be superior than someone else, right? So there's a transmutation that has already taken place that has also been anchored. Now, the exciting thing of how this has played out is that whilst this new norm is being anchored, and humans are coming to terms with that, and they're coming to terms with that not just in one city, not just in one country, not just in one continent. They're coming to terms with that across the world. All type of humans, all races, all genders, all ages, all statuses, all strata of society are coming into terms with that. The other thing that is happening is, as a result of that multiplier effect that is taking place with humans coming to terms with some of this new norm qualities and starting to embrace and embody them in themselves and being away from the usual structures that they have been a part of. For those of us who are used to going to work, there is a system and a structure that is related to how our work operates. We've been away from that. We've not been able to do it in the normal way. We are all a part of a governance structure of our own countries. And then there are these multiple country governance structures like the United Nations and stuff. So all of those, the way they are operating, the modus operandi has shifted. It's very symbolic. People having to work from home. It's like these big institutions have given the power to the individual to go create their own environment and do the work that they said that they're going to do, and find their own ways of doing it whilst providing them support. So the fact that those actions have taken place symbolically, it's a very powerful anchoring of people, those in power giving the power to the people. People on the other hand, rather than resisting it, taking it. And we can say they had to and all that. It doesn't matter how it came about. The bottom line is we are now in this new norm where we've taken that power with ourselves, within ourselves. The other aspect of the new norm that has got anchored is, again, it's a remembrance. What really matters? It's a remembrance and a recollection of what each one of us truly value. And what is happening now. And you will see signs in nature, by the way, really, when you start to see the shift, when a critical mass of humanity shifts, you will get evidence from nature. And I was just sharing with Catherine and Gaurav, like yesterday, there was this amazing rainbow, very unusual color of sky in London. There was a double rainbow in Berlin, very unusual color of sky. 2 days ago, there was this big clunk of golden cloud just outside my window. And Catherine and Vince had gone out, and they saw this double rainbow just a few days ago. And again, it's the colors that are different. And we can say it's because the atmosphere has cleaned out. And, that has definitely happened. And so what is this remembrance being brought back in to each one of us? The remembrance, and why is it a remembrance as opposed to a new realization? I mean, that's the exciting part. Something is having so many facets of a new norm being anchored at the same time could get overwhelming and confusing. But the exciting thing for me is so much of it is a remembrance as opposed to completely new. And a remembrance means at a cellular level, we actually adapt to a remembrance so much more easily because we've been there before. Maybe not in this human form, but we've been there. Now, it's a remembrance because what it does is it's taking things back to the originating intent, as intended by the creator when they were created. So you will find yourself, breathing deeper. Day by day, your breaths will become deeper and more expanded. Your lung sac will feel more expanded. Because there's a remembrance that is starting to occur within you. And as your relationships outside of you start to shift, whether or not you're working on yourself, it doesn't matter. Your relationship with yourself starts to shift. And those of you who are working on yourself, the relationship with yourself gets amplified. And there is a remembrance of the energy of being truly, madly, deeply in love with yourself. There is a way in which you can learn how to do it. And when you have a remembrance already, then all that's required with the learning of how to do it, you can actually accentuate what that even feels like. Another aspect of the new norm, which is what gave rise to the journey of the 7 Cs, is right now the C word is like the key thing, and it will shift over time. Right now, the 7 Cs are the one that really are going to support us as we adapt ourselves consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously to the new norm. So another aspect of the new norm is that nature and other living beings have completely returned to their originating intent. So when that occurs, that's when we are seeing evidence of nature reclaiming itself. You hear me talk about this week after week after week, as I'm seeing more and more evidence of what's going on. It's completely exquisite. Last week we had hundreds of thousands of flamingos. I'm talking about Mumbai. This is Mumbai, one of the busiest cities in the world. And we do have a backwaters, which has just become sludgy and a cesspit of mosquito breeding, with a few flamingos arriving, a few thousand flamingos arriving each year. And there were hundreds of thousands of them. It was just a sea of this beautiful, magnificent orange that was there, just last week. So yeah, nature is completely reclaiming itself. Now, what that means, when nature reclaims itself, and it's doing it across the planet, what that means is the innate vibration of nature starts to take hold. The innate vibration of nature is okayness. When as humans we were into consumption, that it wasn't okay to be okay. It was like just okay. I mean, come on, There was like a voracious consumption of extremes. And as nature, this is the new norm. As nature is starting to rise, reclaim itself, it's completely embraced and is in its originating intent of okayness. And that's the vibe that is being spread across. It's being spread across the planet. And we are seeing it even in wild animals, that okayness is playing out. So they are showing up, in cities, in apartment blocks, in that vibe of okayness. And lo and behold, humans aren't coming out and to destroy them. We aren't bringing in the various services to go, put pellets on these little alligators going across Australian car parks. We're just taking a video of it and sharing it with people. There is an okayness. This is a foundational. This okayness vibe. And the best part is, if we were in that space of busyness as humans, we wouldn't even notice any of that. It would just be seen as a sign of weakness to just be okay, or someone that's not that ambitious. But because we've had an extended period of time where we've been, at least hearing social distancing, and I know many of us in this call have been practicing it, the social distancing and the social isolation as well, we are allowing ourselves to receive okayness. And the more you get into your creative self, creativity, and you engaged in creativity, and even if it is a creative way in which you are going to receive a communication from a loved one that might in the past have irritated you, when you are in that space of creativity and you are surrounded by the vibe of okayness, you allow yourself to receive that okayness. The way you react and respond is so different. It's giving us, this is another new norm. The other new norm, which I'm so excited about, is the vibe of gratitude and appreciation. I'm hearing this word gratitude. I'm hearing this word appreciation from some of the most unlikely places. People who were completely in the past entitled and addicted to validation. And I'm hearing them go into how they appreciate, the housekeeper. I mean, they're like appreciating the nuance and the little details. I'm hearing that happen more and more. And gratitude is the key to peace. Peace is a consequence. You don't do peace. You don't make peace. You get into gratitude, peace is a consequence. You try and do peace, you just get out of peace yourself. So okayness is spreading, creativity is spreading, new norm, anchored already. Gratitude isn't fully anchored yet, but it is starting to happen. There is more and more appreciation certainly happening. All of those are key ingredients that are all facets of the 7 C's. The 7 C's that we're going to be working through over the next 7 to 8 weeks is our choice. We're going to talk a bit more about choice today. Choice, certainty, collaboration, co-creation, coexistence, celebration, and coherence. So let's talk about choice. Choice, we are born with choice. We are born with choice. We are born with dignity, and we are born with our own unique mastery. We call it the source mastery. Now, dignity, so the things that we are born with never go away. They are never diminished. We have 100% power over them all the time. All the time. However, by exercising our choice, we can choose to ignore dignity. We can choose to forget that we actually are born masters. And we can be at the source of our life, applying our mastery. But we have exercised our choice in doing that. When we take this human form, the human form is made up of our physical presence, and there are many, many layers to that. So, we talk about the subconscious, we talk about the unconscious. We talk about the higher self, all of that makes us this human form. So we make a choice. Choice we are always busy doing. We are always acting on choice. Even when you choose to make no choice, you are choosing. Even when you choose to blame or give the power away to someone else and then say, well, I had no choice, you are choosing to adopt that stance that you had no choice. I have no choice in the matter. That is a choice you have made. So with all this, and I've been saying this forever about choice, and what I'm finding is with this situation that has occurred where people are landing within themselves more, there is a greater realization, because if you are at home with all of these people that you are sharing your home with all the time, and there isn't that much to go out and do, you recognize that you can choose how you allow other people to make you feel, but it's your choice. As people are waking up to the originating intent of different things that they are surrounded with, they also are waking up to their own originating intent in their human form. It may not completely, all the dots may not be connected yet, but they're starting to happen. Light bulbs are going up. And you can choose to allow the light bulbs to go up one after the other, and they will. Or you can go straight for that light within you, which exists. That is the light of your consciousness. You were created by the Creator as a speck of consciousness, and the speck of consciousness was, it was really imbued with this light. We are stardust, yes. Each star has its own light. We have our own. And that is the soul essence of us. The moment you plug into that, and that's what we're going to do as a process today, have you plug into that inner light of yours. When you do that, all the light bulbs are switched on. Now, a part of us may go into the space. It was so much easier when, other people took responsibility for various things. And then, I could just sit back and do my piece and then, also complain about others not doing theirs. Well, you can choose to complain, and that's fine. But just know you made that choice, and you can unchoose it. When we go into the dialogue that we had no choice, we had to do this. But we can say we had to socially isolate. We had to do. My God, what a gift. Once you get past the had to, you get past the need to, you get past the, it should be this way, it shouldn't be happening like this. You get past all of that and recognize that whatever is occurring around you. Right? And other people may approach it in that way. But what if you chose? What your response is to that? You can choose that. And you may or may not be aware, as a soul being, each one of us, we are the chosen ones here to be alive at this time on the planet. It's unprecedented. There are some of you here who've been on my calls that we've been preparing the planet for the last 3.5 years. So this was the time of rebirthing of the planet. And in the past, when the planet has rebirthed itself, it has started over. And we've been working with the planetary energies to support it to choose to transform itself. And here it is doing just that. So all of you, the fact that you are here, you've made the choice at a subconscious level, at a deep conscientious level, in terms of your conscience, you made the choice to play your part and hold the space for your own transformation, for the planet's transformation, allowing for transmutation to take place where that was appropriate, even though you may not be aware of it. And the most exciting thing that I take with this is what I'm choosing, and you can make those choices for yourself. I'm choosing to look at that, with this lens at everything and everyone. So even those who are completely disconnected from spirituality, the fact that they are here right now at this time on the planet, they made the choice to play their part. And they may be expressing outwardly in a way that does not feel very palatable based on our past, preconceived notions of how things should or should not be. But in terms of their magnificence, it takes something to live through what we have been living through. And it literally is like that last moment of birth. If any of you have been mothers, would know what it's like, that last thing when you have to push and oh my God, you almost give up. It's for a mother, it's a big thing. And for the baby, you can imagine what that's like. So we are in that space. And yet there is that inner excitement of something new that is being birthed. So we are in that space. This is the time. It is a boot camp, a mega boot camp of allowing. Again, applied choice. You can choose to resent whatever is occurring outside of you, and you can choose to really notice your reactions, your responses, and you can choose to unconditionally accept what is. Exercise your right of choice. Because choice, you are exercising it anyway. You may as well do it consciously. And you know what happens when each one of us becomes conscious about what we are choosing? What will you be choosing? Will you be choosing to go destroy other people? Will you be choosing to go destroy, nature? It will be very different. Maybe some people may still choose to do that, but there'll be sufficient of us who would have risen, who would be doing something different. Nature is already reclaiming itself. It's already shown us, you know, you can destroy us, within days we'll be back. This time has been this time of the unknown. When I say, you know, a part of the new norm is the unknown is the known, uncertainty is certain, change is the constant. I mean, look at it. These are completely polar opposite words, right? And they make a lot of sense now with what we've gone through. So given that is the case, receive that remembrance in you again, that you are the choice, you have the choice in your matter. And it shifts your relationship to some very key words that we use a lot. And they start having a very different meaning. You know, words like because. It's actually meant to be because you are. As opposed to because justification. Well, who are you justifying to? It's okay, you can justify, but that's the choice you're making. You are making that choice. So I call it a journey into the 7 C's. I'm calling it a journey into the 7 C's because I invite you, as I introduce the C to you, today I've talked about choice. Go on a journey of choice between now and next Thursday, when we get together again. And notice, be conscious about the choices you're making. Knowing that you are choosing every breath we take, every time we speak, whatever we do, we are choosing all the time. So when I talk to people, I always say, you know, make a choice that is the best for you. And it is the best for all. I'm saying best for you. I'm not saying good for you. You know, the best is a very big word. It's like really an all-encompassing, a holistic word. So when you choose that which is the best for you, because really you can only ever choose for you, and you have always only ever chosen for you. Even when you choose to say things like, I have no choice, I have to do this. You've only chosen that for you. I can't say this right now. Well, you know, you think it'll upset them. No. Your concern is about their reaction to what you say to them. You only ever chosen for you. You may as well just do everything consciously. Choose that which is the best for you. And it is best for all. So, you know, you have been operating from choice, even if you weren't fully aware that you were. You have been. Your experience of how the world shows up for you is your choice. The world is the world, the earth is the earth, trees are the trees, politicians are politicians, you know, governance is governance. You choose that which is the best for you, and it is the best for all. Start expressing, exercising your choice, because you have it.